It's mailbag time here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. Tank forever. I hope not. Eventually, you just want to win. Why should Bears fans be hopeful with all of the chaos and dysfunction? Well, I think it's fair to just make this statement off the bat. You should have some doubt on the leadership of this organization and their ability to choose the right head coach. That is a very valid thing. But what I would say is the reason to have hope is because of number 18, is because of Caleb Williams. Obviously, it's been an up and down year. It hasn't been perfect, but you've seen legitimate, not just flashes, like stretches of greatness throughout some of these games, throughout, games on top of games. He's had 2-3 game stretches now where he's legitimately played awesome. Now, over the course of 17 games, the great ones play well for, at least 12 or 13 of those, and even when they play poorly, they at least keep you in most of these games. But these 3 games against the NFC North the last few weeks, that 3-game stretch before the bye week, but most importantly this last 3 weeks, it gives you hope that, hey, this guy's different. Justin Fields, I think under better circumstances could have been a starter in this league, but he doesn't have the talent of Caleb Williams. Mitch Trubisky, I think we knew early on that at best he was kind of a game manager. Caleb Williams is much more. So that's the reason to be hopeful, is because of number 18. The question is this: can he rise above the chaos? Is he so good and special if he reaches his potential? Can he overcome some of the shortcomings of this organization? Type Y for yes, type in for no. If the answer is a lot of it he can, then I think there's reason for hope, even if the organization isn't run completely perfectly. It's Coda. Bill Belichick as head coach. Brown remains as OC. I just don't think you're not going to tell Belichick who to hire. Now, maybe he would choose to keep Thomas Brown, but I'm not super high on the Belichick thing. He's 73. I feel like he would want to just change a bunch of things up, which clearly you need some change, but he might just be like, yeah, these 10 players got to go. And it's well, Bill, we paid this guy. We did that. I don't know. I just don't think the Bears and Belichick are the right fit. And I know that sounds crazy. The Bears haven't won a playoff game in almost 15 years, but I think he's better suited to go somewhere else. M. Xavier 91, I'm on the Thomas Brown train. Who is with me? Definitely on it in the short term. I think this was absolutely the right move to fire Eberflus and promote Thomas Brown, give him this 5-game runway and see what he can do with it. I'm open-minded to him eventually becoming the head coach. If I'm sitting here today, would I bet that it happens or bet against it? I'd probably bet against it, but I'm open to him proving that he can be the guy, and it all starts this week at practice and then on Sunday against the 49ers, a game that I think is very winnable right now against the Niners team that might just be done. So I'm excited for him, curious to see what he can do. And he's gone from pass game coordinator to OC to head coach in less than 3 weeks. So let's see how he handles it. Subscribe and join us for that game, as we will be live for a Bears versus 49ers watch party this Sunday, 2:15 Central Time for a 3:25 kick. How does Thomas Brown's debut go? Most teams get a boost with the interim head coach. And as painful as these losses have been, I actually think the Bears have been playing better than the Niners recently. So come join us for that. Josh, if you retain Thomas Brown, who is on your short list for OC and DC? It's hard to just answer that off the cuff here. Do some of the guys currently on staff stay? I would think maybe a few do, but I would hope Thomas Brown brings in some fresh blood as well. It's hard to say. If he's calling the plays, the OC hire, what becomes more important is someone who you trust with the game planning, right? If Chris Beatty shows them a lot over these next few weeks and Thomas wants to keep calling plays, maybe you just keep him, right? That could be an option because, if you're hiring an OC for someone that's not going to be the play caller, it's just going to limit your pool. Maybe you go poach a quarterbacks coach from the McVay tree, which Brown comes from as well. You give him the OC title, something like that. He also works with the quarterbacks, so that could be an option. Defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh would be on my short list. I know it would be a scheme shift, but I think you got to be just open-minded to proven good coaches. Beyond that, I have to think of some other potential defensive guys. But yeah, I'll put some thought into that, Josh. How about that? The Greenier Bros, would you re-sign Teven Jenkins or let him walk? I'm open to re-signing him, but it's got to be team friendly. I don't think you can give him top dollar. Like if some team out there is wanting to give him, 18, 20 million per year, thanks for the 4 years, Teven, but too many injuries. And sometimes he randomly will have poor performances. I did not think he played that well against Detroit, if I'm being completely honest with you. So, can you get him on like a 2-year, $20 million deal, $10 million per year, something like that? I'd be open to that. But if he's wanting one of these, 4 for 80, 5 for 95 type of contracts, I don't think the Bears are in position to do that, if I'm being completely honest. Shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this mailbag episode here on Chicago Bears Now. PrizePicks is the best daily fantasy sports app in North America with more than 10 million users and counting, and it's available in more than 30 states. Get signed up today at prizepicks.com/CLNS. When you use our code CLNS, if you're a first-time customer, you're going to get a $50 bonus directly into your account once you play for just $5. So set your first lineup, 2 or more players, as long as it's 2 players on different teams. And doesn't matter if you win or lose, you're going to get that additional $50. Hopefully you do win, and you win that entry money as well. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to take advantage of that deal. Here's an example of a lineup, just 2 players. I got Josh Jacobs, more than half a touchdown. I like him to find the end zone this week. That's a goblin pick, which is a little easier to win. I kind of paired it with a demon pick, which is tougher to hit. I got Jamison Williams finding the end zone as well. 2-player entries are typically 5 for 15, and this one is as well, with having 1 goblin and 1 demon pick to kind of even itself out. $5 entry to win $15, but again, you're going to get a $50 bonus into your account regardless when you play for the first time. So check it out right now. Links in the comments and in the description of this video. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS right now. TJ, if we lose out, do you still think there's a chance they fire Ryan Poles? I think the organization is already having a what's the word I'm looking for? Phrase I'm looking for? A kind of a brand issue right now. I think if you come, they already botched how they fired Matt Eberflus. There's already reporting out there from Adam Johns and others that people around the league did not like the way they handled that in terms of Flus doing the press conference and then being fired 2 hours later. Now, Kevin Warren said they hadn't decided by then and said if he could, they would have handled it better, but you can't go back. Like that already happened. I don't think you can now, 5 weeks left in the season, say Ryan Poles is our GM moving forward and then change your mind in 5 weeks. Like, I just don't think people will take you seriously. So I think he's here. I think he's going to be here, and that's just how it is. Dylan Peterson, what are some good free agents that you think the Bears would go get? I think we should get someone like O-line or D-line. Yeah, trenches. That's what I'm looking for, Dylan. If you're watching live here on Monday, I've got a mock draft coming up. A little teaser. We got some trenches picks in there, so stay tuned for that. Who will be the next Bears head coach? If you had to predict it, drop a name down in the comment section below. Who is going to be the next Bears football coach? Jacob Savani, do you truly believe Chicago would be Ben Johnson's most coveted opening? I have no idea. I know Adam Schefter said he believes Johnson would be interested in this job. Albert Breer said the chatter last year was that Johnson would have had interest in this job if it opened up. I think out of the 3 that are open right now, which is the Bears, the Saints, and the Jets, Chicago is the most attractive because of Caleb Williams, draft capital, cap space, all that stuff. But does he trust the organization? Does he trust Ryan Poles? Does he trust Kevin Warren? Those are all, like, if I'm being interviewed by the Bears, I'm also interviewing the Bears. Like, I want to know crystal clear what the structure of this organization is before I take that job if I'm a head coach candidate. Wasim, the Caleb slander in the chat is insane. Yeah, look, it's this is just what happens, right? When you're losing, people turn to coaching and the quarterback who to blame. I like where Caleb's at right now. I think if he had it back, he would have done a better job late in that game against Detroit, would have gone faster, but that's where the coach, the adult, has to step in and take a timeout. Didn't happen. Hopefully he learned from that situation as well. Like, hey, we got to have more urgency, but I think Caleb's done some good things this year. Cranes make gains. Our sack leader only has 4.5 sacks so far. Is Flus to blame for poor performance scheme, or does Montez just need more help? It's a combination of things. I don't think Montez has had his best year. I think part of that's due to injury. There could be other reasons. I do think you need more talent on your defensive line. And I also think that it's the coordinator's job to be more creative, to find ways to generate pressure, bring more blitzes, run more stunts. I mean, have they run a stunt with their front four in the last several weeks? I can't think of one. Run more twists. It's just been very vanilla. Just rush up field with 4 and try to get home. It's been pretty lethargic in terms of the approach. We'll see if Eric Washington turns up the heat. I'm curious to see what he does as well. We're all focused on Thomas Brown, but what does Eric Washington do with this opportunity as the interim defensive coordinator? That's something to watch out for. Appreciate all the questions. A lot of good ones there. If you have any more, I have a lot of DMs to catch up on after the Flus firing. I did not dig into that due to the holidays and Thanksgiving time, but got to play some catch up here. At HGramNFL, Twitter and Instagram is where you can find me. Fire away in those DMs.